Trump has put the entire country of Canada into a frenzy again, this time over a bridge. Let's take a look.
Well, stop me if you heard this before. President Donald Trump has once again thrown a huge wrench into Canada-U.S. relations. Last night, the president posted this, saying Canada is building a massive bridge between Ontario and Michigan. I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them. We will start negotiations immediately. Trump is referring...
I will focus, though, on one other part of his post that says right here, with all that we have given them, we should own perhaps at least one half of this asset. So in other words, he's doing the Greenland on half of this bridge. Stole that shit.
Stole that shit.
Many on Canadian media gave their take on the Trump bridge situation. As I've come to expect, perhaps you as well, there's a lot of Trump derangement syndrome in these takes.
And I think, I don't think he's as tactical as Emily says. I think he just does it because he can. I think there's no end goal. Right. He just puts something in his ear and let me just...
Someone off camera, I think, said, "That's right," there.
Share it. But, in my experience with him, I think what he says online is something because he can do it. He can get away with it. And right. I think
people... Someone off screen there you could hear said, "Right?"
Online.
These panels on Canadian media, it's just a lot of people agreeing with one another.
Is something because he can do it. He can get away with it. And
right.
I think people just he likes to get a reaction from people. It thrives off of that.
That take belongs back in 2015. The whole, Trump just likes getting a rise out of people. Trump has negotiated so many times in the real world using social media. Here's a take from the mayor of Windsor, Canada.
So we know Donald Trump is volatile. We know he's created an environment of uncertainty. I'm sure we'll get over the speed hump here on this issue as well. It's one of the frustrations we have to deal with. And, the faster we can get to the midterms and hopefully see a change, the better for all of us.
What's going to happen after the midterms? Trump's not up in the midterms. Maybe the Democrats will win either the Senate or the House. I think it's looking like they may take the House, but what's that going to do? Trump's still going to be the president of the United States. And that's not a strategy, by the way. Just sit on your hands and try to wait it out. Canada deserves better. Prime Minister Carney here today talking about the bridge situation. Also spoke to Trump. Some other stuff comes up, hockey.
So the first thing to say is there's a big game today, and the President and I discussed the Canada-U.S. game.
USA won 5-0. Not great for Canada, today at least.
And of course, we're all behind our team. Secondly, we discussed a number of issues, international issues. Thirdly, we discussed the bridge. I explained that Canada, of course, paid for the construction of the bridge, over $4 billion, that the ownership is shared between the state of Michigan and the government of Canada. Obviously, there's Canadian steel, Canadian workers, but also U.S. steel, U.S. workers that are involved. This is a great example of cooperation between our countries.
Isn't there a rupture, though? How is that Davos speech working for Canada thus far? It's been, 3 weeks, maybe a month since that speech? When is that thing going to start paying off for Canada?
Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. But more recently, great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited.
Here's another take. This woman is talking about the bridge situation and also the way Carney has been dealing with it.
I commend the Prime Minister and his tone. He really struck the right tone here where he wasn't dismissive. He wasn't even rude towards the president. He said, he rightly wants the American ambassador who's from Michigan to be part of smoothing the path forward. I mean, what he was probably thinking is what all of us are thinking is that this is ludicrous. The facts are not on the president's side, and the president would know.
Look, it almost doesn't even matter. I wonder if the big Canadian networks will ever acknowledge that Davos speech may have been just a massive mistake for Carney to do. Like, why would you do that to the country that means more to you than literally every other country combined? You could probably put USA, every other country, and then times this by 2, and USA is still more important to Canada. So you get up at Davos, blah, blah, blah. the rupture.
The facts are not on the president's side, and the president would know that, given that he fast-tracked this project in 2017 while he was the president, and he knows how important the Windsor-Detroit crossing is to both economies.
Look, the reality is the American president is so powerful. Another reality many in Canada probably don't want to admit: Canada has not been the greatest neighbor to America for quite some time. Why were we so far underneath the 2% NATO target? Canada's been prioritizing climate change and all sorts of other stuff, while America has been prioritizing capitalism. There's a big trade deficit, in part because of that. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, was asked about this subject today at a press briefing. Caroline Leavitt, by the way, is so good at this job. It's crazy.
John.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. Yesterday, the president on social media threatened to block the new Gordie Howe Bridge, which would connect Detroit to Canada. This is a bridge that was fully paid for by Canada. It used American labor to construct it. It used American steel to construct that bridge. The president in 2017 was actually in favor of this bridge, part of a joint statement that he put out when he met with the Canadian Prime Minister. Why has the president changed his mind as it relates to this bridge?
A reporter sounds like he should be on Canadian media.
I think the president was very clear and direct in his truth, John, but just to reiterate, the fact that Canada will control what crosses the Gordie Howe Bridge and owns the land on both sides is unacceptable to the president. It's also unacceptable that more of this bridge isn't being built with more American-made materials, even more so than what President Barack Obama committed to with the Canadians at the time, at the start of the project.
Quickly cutting in here with another example, I'd say for sure, of Canadian Trump derangement syndrome. This person named Sharon, who I've seen on TV before, tried to blame this on Jamil Javani, quoting the Trump Truth Social about the bridge. Great work at Jamil Javani. I saw other people, by the way, bringing up Jamil Javani here. It's Jamil's fault? Are you kidding me?
He also believes that the U.S. should own at least half of the bridge, have shared authority over what passes across it, and participate in the economic benefits generated by its use. This is just another example of President Trump putting America's interests first. It's
also another example, in my opinion, I would speculate, of blowback from that Davos speech. I firmly believe that Davos speech by Mark Carney looked like an attempt to humiliate Trump on a global stage in front of a bunch of those global elites. There's no way Trump would have liked that.
He made that very clear in his call with Prime Minister Carney earlier today.
So with that said, I will finish the video here. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like. Have a great day.